it have a very clear overlap with main syllabus. Success includes 20% skill, 80% strategy. If you are able to understand or decode syllabus well, 5% of the battle you have won. Smart study plays a very important role. Try to keep into the recurring concepts which are coming and give priority to those concepts. If you really want to score well in optional, you need to develop that art to create a linkage between different thinkers. When you are writing a PSIR optional paper, include thinkers into that. Always remember, strategy without execution is aimless, and execution without strategy is useless.
Hello aspirants, welcome to our special session on Mastering Political Science and International Relations as an optional for Civil Services exam. Joining us today is Dr. Shruti Joshi ma'am of Vision IS. Welcome ma'am.
Thank you so much, Shruti.
Ma'am, political science and international relations is one of the most famous optional subjects. So could you tell us the reasons why a lot of the students opt for political science and international relations as an optional subject?
Yes, Prateek, you rightly said that PSIR is one of the most sorted out optional as far as the entire optional subjects are concerned. And if we look into the precedent or the success level, we would find that last year, and even before, most of the top rankers had PSIR as their optional. So now, what is the reason why PSIR is so much looked after? And if I rephrase myself, why should student opt PSIR? Especially those who do not have this background of humanity and they are in fix. So there are a number of reasons. Reason number one is that PSIR has a very scoring potential. So now when I say it has a scoring potential, what could be the reason? Reason is that the syllabus of PSIR, we would be talking about that also. The syllabus of PSIR has huge amount of clarity with itself. And though it appears to be a lengthy syllabus, actually it is not that lengthy because most of the themes are overlapping. And if you go and restructure the entire syllabus, you would find syllabus to be very concise and huge amount of clarity is there. This is one reason. Second, why it is a scoring potential it has. Reason is because, see, most of the themes which we study in PSIR, these are those themes which are quite generic in nature. For instance, concepts like equality, concepts like liberty, concepts like justice. Though of course we do have a technical angle to that when we go deep into that. But on periphery, these concepts are those concepts which I believe even a technical background student might get accustomed to, or at least he have an idea. So all these factors makes it a very scoring potential subject. So this is point number one, why we can go forward for PSIR. Second reason is, and it's a very thoughtful, it should be a thoughtful process when you look after optional, right? So one criteria is that you have an interest. So of course, then candidates also which are there in front of us, these are two kinds of candidate. One, those who do have a background of humanities. So if you have a background of humanity, you have a tilt towards political system, IR and all, you can safely take forward PSIR. For those students who don't have a humanity background, that is, they have a technical background. For them also, I am saying PSIR is very a nice option. Reason is because you see, there is a very fine overlap between PSIR syllabus and that of the prelims. So now, if we decode the entire syllabus, so PSIR has two papers, paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 have two sections, section A and section B. Section A deals with political theory, ideologies, thought, that is Western and Indian. And section B of paper 1 includes the entire idea regarding Indian government and politics. So suppose a person has taken PSIR as an optional, he is thorough with section B, that is, he knows everything in and out of the entire political system, and the same thing to a large extent is being overlapped as far as GS prelims polity is concerned. And polity, of course, constitute a very important element for prelims. This year only, I think approximately 14 questions were asked on polity, right? Again, if I say paper 2 again have two sections. Section A is the theoretical framework, including theories of IR and comparative government politics. And section B is India and the world. So suppose a person has taken PSIR, he would be knowing each and everything about India's foreign policy, diplomatic initiatives, and the current events. The same thing anyhow you have to read when you discuss about the prelims aspect of current affairs. This year, almost 4 to 5 questions directly on IR were being asked. So this is the reason, again, PSIR could be taken as far as students from as in humanity background or non-humanity background. Third, why it should be taken. It have a very clear overlap with main syllabus as well. So again, if we look into main syllabus, you have GS paper 2, which includes subjects like governance, constitution, and Indian political system. So again, the same thing. If a person is reading PSIR, he will be very well versed with GS paper 2 polity section. Again, a person, if he has read PSIR, he would be very well versed with again GS paper 2 international relations subject. So this is also one reason. Another reason why it could be taken is because it has a very nice relevance as far as personality test is concerned. So in most of the cases, interview mein what kind of questions are asked? Something which is happening in and around in the political system of India or outside. And anyhow, if you know things about governance, Indian political system and international relations, you would be able to deliver well in personality test also. Again, things, story or the journey does not end here. PSIR has a great relevance post-selection also. So when you enter into administrative services, no doubt you are going to take control of the entire district or some very important portfolio. You need to understand the political system of India. Suppose with God grace you enter into the foreign policy or the foreign service post, then also you need to get accustomed with the Indian foreign policy and entire complexities. So anyhow, if you are a PSIR student, you would be sailing very smoothly. Last but not the least, PSIR has a great relevance as far as other disciplines or other genres of GS paper is concerned. For instance, if I give you an example, the ethics paper, that is GS paper 4. In ethics, what kind of topics we talk about? We talk about happiness. So what could be a better reference than Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics, which talks about ethics, which talks about happiness. You talk about justice in GS paper 4 ethics, and then we have such a nice reference to Plato's concept of justice. Of course, there is a critical angle to that. Aristotle's concept of justice, Rawls' concept of justice, the idea of welfare state. So all these things also you would be able to better understand if you take PSIR as an optional. So these are few of the reasons why I believe many of the students are taking forward PSIR as an optional.
Right, ma'am. So as I see it, the overlap with general studies subject and in all the aspects, be it prelims, be it mains, be it personality test, so PSI plays a very crucial role. So once student has selected this optional, so what advice would you give to them in order to complete an effective preparation?
Okay. So I believe we are discussing now about how to come across with mains PSIR optional studies, right? So you see, Pratik, it has often been said that success includes 20% skill, 80% strategy. So this means we need to strategize our preparation. So I will take one by one step how we need to strategize our preparation for those students who have taken PSIR as an optional. So first of all, what you would do is, again I'm saying, if you do have an idea or you do had a humanity background, I'm sure you must have come across NCERTs. If you don't have the humanity background, you are from technical services, then first thing you need to do before even dwelling into the syllabus is look into the NCERTs. So what NCERTs we recommend? This is class 11th political theory. This is again class 11th Indian Constitution at work. So just go across these two important NCERT. What would be the benefit? Benefit would be you would be able to understand terms which could be used later on when you are dwelling deep into mains idea. So this is one thing. Then there is NCERT class 12th, and this is contemporary world politics. Now why I suggest this for the student? Because you see, when you dwell into that paper 2 section B, India and the world, definitely we are dwelling into the recent issues. But we need to understand what was the reasons for things to happen. For instance, if we are discussing about Russia-Ukraine war, or why Russia have such an aggressive stance as far as the Eurasian region is concerned, we need to go back to 1991, and even before that, what was this USSR idea, post-disintegration, how Russia emerged to be the sole inheritor of USSR, as in this is as what Russia believes itself to be. What was the historic rivalry between USSR and US because of which all things is happening today? So for that also you need to discuss NCERT. So first thing for all the students, they would be discussing and having a good idea regarding NCERT. Once you have gone through NCERT, now start looking into the syllabus. You see, if you are able to understand or decode syllabus well, 5% of the battle you have won. So now the syllabus, as I said, appears to be lengthy. What we need to do is we need to restructure the entire syllabus. That's what we advise our student within the mains preparation. How would you restructure? You club all the like-minded concepts. So I'll just give you an example. Again, paper 1, section A. That includes political theory, ideologies and thought. So for instance, there is a topic called theories of state, wherein you have a liberal theory of state, neoliberal theory of state, Marxist theory of state and feminist theory of state. Cut to, you have a section of ideology where you have liberal ideology, Marxist ideology, feminist ideology. Then you have Western political thinkers, wherein you have Locke also there, you have Karl Marx also there. So why can't we club all these concepts together? So what we will do? We would start with a larger idea of ideologies. That is, suppose we are starting with liberal ideology. So within liberal ideology, now we would discuss theory of the state, the liberal theory of the state. Then we will be discussing all the aspects of liberalism, including key thinkers. So John Locke would be automatically included, right? Neoliberals mein jayenge, Nozick would be automatically included. Modern liberalism mein welfare state idea, MacIver, Lasky would be included. Similarly, take forward Marxism as your ideology. Theory of the state mein Marxist concept of the state would be included. Ideas mein or the thinkers mein you can take forward Marx. Take forward this track a little further, neo-Marxism. Gramsci is being included into neo-Marxism. So this is the way we would be restructuring the entire syllabus. And believe me, syllabus appears to be very much crisp as well as concise. So if we do this process. So second will be, we would be restructuring the entire syllabus. Third step in our strategy would be, now once you have restructured, start dealing with each and every concept in a way just like I told you. And start making your own notes. Refer to standard books. We would be discussing that also very soon. Refer to those standard books, and of course, if you are taking a mentoring session, you can take forward the notes also. Try to assimilate, concise all the notes, make your own notes for that. This would be a larger notes. Now, once your detailed notes for a topic is being made, cut to go straight forward to answer writing. So now you would be going forward with section-wise answer writing. Once you have done with all the important sections and all the section-wise answer writing, one more thing, here you can always refer to previous year's question of UPSC, and you can join any mock test also for that. Once you have done section-wise, then you go for a full-length test. So this would be a way in which you can strategize. Till December, I believe if our preparation is coming up, 6 month time is sufficient for that. So 6 month apne hisab se you can always figure out. Suppose by December or January, you are done with your mains optional preparation. Now stop yourself here. Start preparing for prelims and other GS papers also. Once you are done with prelims, now revise your detailed notes, start making micro notes. These would be the bullet points. That will be very essential or important for revision last minute, right? So this would be the way in which you can always strategize your process. And of course, here in UPSC, you should not run after completion of each and every topic. Always and always, smart study plays a very important role. Try to keep into the recurring concepts which are coming and give priority to those concepts. So in this strategy, if you come across, I'm sure PSIR would be an easy ride for our students.
Thank you, ma'am. Just to summarize what you've said, So we'll start with NCERT as the basic reference material, then we'll move to the syllabus, analyze the recurring themes, and then practice answer writing, and then practice answer writing and also make micro notes, right? So ma'am, once we have done all these things, so there are a lot of students who have confusion in certain aspects of the syllabus. So could you mention some syllabus parts where students find it difficult to understand?
Okay, Prateek. So actually, those PSIR, the entire syllabus could be divided into two different categories. One are those concepts or themes which are dynamic in nature, and few are those themes or sections which are static in nature. If I come to the static portion, this includes paper 1, section A, which includes theory, ideology, Western political thought, and Indian political thought. The same static portion we can find in paper 2, section A, which includes theories of comparative government politics and theories of international relations. The second portion is the dynamic portion, which includes section B of paper 1, which is IGP, Indian government and politics, and section B of paper 2, that is India and the world. So when I interact with the student, what I found, there are few challenging aspects when students come across with PSIR preparation. One is, they do have issues regarding the static portion, that is the theoretical portions. Within the theoretical portion, what challenge they face? One, they are not able to create a linkage between different thinkers. And I believe if you really want to score well in optional, you need to develop that art to create a linkage between different thinkers. For instance, I'll give you an example. Suppose a question has come up on Plato's concept of justice. You can't end up your answer just writing what Plato said. You can always create a critical angle as far as Aristotle is concerned. Suppose there is a theme called citizenship. You can always take forward themes which Aristotle has suggested. Suppose an idea has come up regarding Plato's concept of communism of property and wives. You can always create a narrative between Plato's communism and Marxian communism. So if you try, so this is one challenge which students face, they are not able to create this interlinkage. Interlinkage is also very common, or you can find if you are trying to make a linkage between Western political thinkers and Indian political thinkers. For instance, suppose a concept-based question on means and ends comes up. You have such nice diametrically opposite thinkers like Gandhi and Machiavelli, and so beautifully you can integrate them and create your own answer. So this is one challenge which actually students face, linkages between different thinkers. Second is linkage between themes and thinkers. So like I said, concept of citizenship, concept of justice, concept of equality. So if a question on equality comes up, you do have a very nice reference from Aristotle's idea, proportionate equality. You can always write about that. If a question comes up on what should be the virtue of citizens, you do have an idea of virtue as far as Aristotle is concerned, as far as Machiavelli is concerned. Art of governance, what should be the quality? You can always take forward Machiavelli as that reference point. So this is also one challenge which students face, linkages between themes also and thinkers also. Next challenge which they face, again from the static portion, is that suppose they know theory about international relations. So they know about this idea of complex interdependence. But now this is the time you need to relate this idea of complex interdependence with, say, a dynamic concept of relationship between US and China comes up. So we do know, like GS में एक बार question आया भी है, that there is an existential crisis which is being faced. But then, despite of this, what is the reason US and China has never come across each other in a direct way? The reason is this theory or the concept of complex interdependence. So this is another challenge where students are not able to create a linkage between dynamic aspects of international relations and the theoretical aspect. So these are few of the challenges I feel students are facing. One more would be this section B of paper 2, India and the world. because we don't suggest any specific textbook for that. So students have to depend upon newspapers and good articles online. So this is also one challenge, because they sometimes get disillusioned that they don't find a reference point to that. So these are few of the challenging aspects.
Right. Ma'am, speaking about the resources, what are the essential resources that students should look into when preparing for the optional subject for PSIR?
Okay. So Prateek, if I'll be going one by one. So paper 1, section A, this includes political theory. Kindly refer Andrew Hewitt for that. Second is political ideology. Again, we have a series. Andrew Hewitt comes with series of books. So political ideology is also there. And then I also recommend O.P. Gaba. This is quite a simplicist, in a very simple language, the book has made the explanations. So students can always refer to that. As far as Western political thought is concerned, there is a book called Brian Nelson, From Plato to Marx. So kindly refer to that. We also have an Indian authored book. This is Sushila Ramaswamy. So that book is also very nice, concise, lucid book. Next is Indian political thought. So S.L. Verma, M.P. Singh, you have plethora of text for that also. So this is section A. Section B, this is IGP section. So first of all, IGP, because I have included it into a dynamic category, of course, you have to refer to newspapers. But at the same time, because concepts are involved, so we do have some very nice books like Oxford Companion to Politics, and this is by Nirja Jayal and Pratap Bhanu Mehta. So this is a very nice text. Another is Rajiv Bhargav, and this books include some very nice concepts like party politics, secularism. You can take forward these aspects. Next, we are coming to paper 2. Paper 2 again have 2 sections. Section A includes theories of comparative government and politics. So for CGP section, that is comparative government politics, very nice book of J.C. Johari is there. You can take forward that. And then there is theories of international relations. For that, you can refer Bellis and Smith. That is a very nice text. Jackson and Sorensen, this is also a very nice book for that. Next is section B, that is India and World. Again, this comes from the dynamic section, and for dynamic section, I generally don't prefer referring to any important textbook. So I don't recommend any book for that. India and the World, you would be referring to the daily newspaper. And of course, if you are making class notes or you are making your own notes, refer to that. Apart from all these texts, NCRTs are very important for the beginners. And second, I find the IGNU, the E-Gyan Kosh or the IGNU text also extremely important and good also. So clarity is there in those notes, so you can refer those notes also.
Ma'am, once students have identified and started their preparation, so what is the importance of making notes? Because you have mentioned a lot of sources.
Yeah, see, Prateek, making notes become very important exercise, not for anyone else, but for yourself only. So when you are making notes, first of all, don't try to be in a hurry to create notes for the entire syllabus. As I said, section-wise, go forward. Try to make notes, and notes making may be what important thing you would keep into your mind. Linkages. So try to create linkages, right? Once you have done with the entire syllabus, I assure you that you would be able to create linkages in a much better way. And not only linkages within the discipline of political science and international relations, discipline with other branches of GS also. So this is the reason notes making become important, because you can always refer back to them. And it's not only detailed notes which are important. As I said, bullet points or micro notes becomes extremely important. So this is the reason notes making becomes extremely important part of your preparation.
Ma'am, coming to the answer writing part. So, ma'am, answer writing is very crucial when it comes to general studies. But do you also share the same opinion when it comes to answer writing for political science and international relations?
Yes, Prateek. See, as I said, this includes the skill part. Answer writing is the skill of answer writing, and skill is something which you can always develop with practice. This is the reason it's called skill. So you keep practicing and you would come out with better answer every time you are writing, right? So don't expect that from day one you would be writing a perfectly fine answer. It's absolutely fine. I suggest student, absolutely fine if your time limit is exceeding. Absolutely fine if word limit is exceeding in the initial time. Slowly and steadily you would be able to chisel out the extra things which you are writing all by yourself. So this is the reason answer writing becomes important, because this create a systematic thought process in yourself. Answer writing also becomes important because you are able to understand how would I be starting this answer. So like I suggest, if we are dwelling into, suppose international, India and the world पे कोई question आया, how can we start? So if you are practicing, you know either I have to start with a theme, and if a recent context is not there, if there is a recent context to something which has happened, start with a recent context and then start with a theme. So when you keep answer writing, you are able to understand, Abhi, I have to make this switch. I don't have a recent context, I'll go for a theme. Similarly, for political theory or section A of paper 1 or section B, that is IGP also, I always suggest student, again IGP ke liye especially, recent context hai to you can start. For instance, suppose a question on defection comes up, a question on election comes up, a question on RPA 1950-51 comes up, you have a context, you can start with that. If you don't have a context, start with a theme. Identify 2 or 3 important themes regarding that concept. Use those themes either as an introduction or as a conclusion. So these are few things which you develop only when you are going for answer writing. And in Vision IS, of course, we have been providing answer writing test series sessions for PSIR before also. Now we are coming up with optional also, but we have been providing test series, personal mentoring has also been provided. So I believe all these initiatives will help students to move further.
Ma'am, one common concern among students is that since there is so much overlap between GS and PSIR, some students think that their answer is very generic and it's not very technical when it comes to PSIR. So how the students can add value in their PSIR answer so that it doesn't look very generic?
Okay, so this is another very common concern which actually students come and ask, and especially concerning topics which are overlapping, like you said. For instance, if a question comes up on India and the world, foreign policy or current affairs, they do come up saying that, ma'am, how my answer will appear different for optional and how it would be different for my GS mains. Because you see, content somehow or the happening or the analysis remains same. So I always suggest students, the only difference is when you are writing a PSIR optional paper, include thinkers into that. When you are writing an answer for GS mains, you can omit thinkers from that. So for instance, I'll give you an example. If a question suppose comes up on recent Russia-Ukraine crisis, so if you are going to write a mains answer for that, you can always write what could be the reason for Russia-Ukraine crisis and how US or NATO, an expansion of NATO towards the backyards of Russia played a crucial role. But suppose the same question is being asked for PSIR, how would you make it a more qualified answer? So here you can always add thinkers like Mearsheimer and his concept of bait and bleed theory and how you can posture then US into this analysis. Similarly, suppose there is a question in GS mains coming up, IR, that there is a new world order which has come up and how countries are competing among themselves. You would say, of course, post disintegration of USSR and end of Cold War, a new world order has come up. And in this new world order, there is this entire idea of globalization and complex interlinkages. However, when you are writing the same answer for PSIR, how you can make a quality or add quality to that? You would say, as per Bellis and Smith, the entire world is turning into a multiplex. You can refer to the same author saying that now the world is making a shift from state-centric geopolitics to geocentric geopolitics, wherein now states are competing for geographical expansion, and here you can quote China's expansionism within it. You can even say that how this present world is all about complex interdependence And therein you can say that how the billiard model has been replaced to the cobweb model, right? So you can always add beauty to your answer and make it more precise as per thinkers. Keep adding thinkers into that so as to give quality to your PSIR answer. But you can omit this theoretical aspect and keep the analysis intact when you are writing your mains answer for general studies.
Right, ma'am. So you've mentioned using political thinkers and theories when it comes to PSIR optional. Ma'am, what are some of the other ways to enrich PSIR answers?
Okay, so apart from making theories, a linkage between the contemporary context and the theoretical aspect, what are other aspects which could be included into PSIR answer writing? So one point, as I said, is, and this should be to do's list, and every aspirant should keep that into mind. One, always try to create and give a critical angle if a thinker is being asked. And critical angle can't be in a blur. It has to be contextual, as in it has to be situated. There needs to be a reference point. For instance, like Plato's concept of justice, Aristotle's critique of Plato's concept of justice, Plato's ideas of ideal state vis-a-vis Aristotle's idea of ideal state. डेमोक्रेसी का कॉन्सेप्ट अगर आया है, यू कैन ऑलवेज से व्हाट एंड ट्राई टू फिगर आउट व्हाई प्लेटो हैज अ डिस्डेन टुवर्ड्स डेमोक्रेसी. सो दिस इज अ वेरी नाइस वे व्हेन you keep interlinking things together. Another very important idea as far as the Indian government politics is concerned, always and always make yourself relevant to the time. So for that, you should keep referring to newspaper and current events which are coming. So these are few more ideas or ways in which you can always add quality to your PSIR answers.
Ma'am, you have talked about the importance of answer writing and how to enrich the answers with regard to political science. Can you also tell us some of the recurring and important themes as far as PSIR is concerned?
Okay, Prateek. So if students really wish to know that what are the recurring themes or the priority areas, or those areas on which they should concentrate first. So the vantage point or the reference point has to be the previous year's question of UPSC. So as I have suggested, always look into that moment you are able to complete a particular section. So suppose section A, paper 1, the first topic is approaches to political science and you have completed this. Now refer back to the previous year's question and you would find that there is repetition of questions which are coming. So the most recurring themes which comes up is the behavioral approach, the post-behavioral approach, decline of political theory concept. And these are few ideas which keeps on coming. Also one idea of the historic debate between normative approach and empirical approach. So students would find that when you read into those previous year's question, what you need to do is uska aap ek gist bana lo. You create a small gist and you would find the gist is same though the language is changing. So this is the way you can always identify recurring or priority areas which are keep coming up. Also, agar thinkers mein prioritize karna hai, always try to stick to that thinker first or take that thinker into priority. As I said, which have multiple linkages with multiple concepts in political theory itself. Within that concept, thinker like Aristotle appears to be very important. Justice maybe you would be referring, equality maybe you would be referring. If you are dealing with ideas like revolution or what could be the citizenship virtue, then also you are referring. So in that case, this thinker becomes very important. Machiavelli becomes very important for that matter. Marx becomes very important, and Marxism. Why? Any kind of alternative ideology becomes very important. So Marxism is the only alternative ideology to the modern liberal order. This is the reason Marxism becomes important. Within Marxism bhi, where I would concentrate, something which has been made in recent past, that is some advancement which has been made, therein neo-Marxism becomes very important. So thinkers mein Gramsci becomes important, Althusser, Polanzis become important. This is the way we need to identify the concepts. So recurring things should of course be there from PYQs, but then you can always identify these kind of things. So this is the way you can take forward recurring things. IGP mein like elections just have gone across, so those who are appearing this time, In IGP, that is section B, paper 1, all those important ideas dealing with election, that is EC, RPA 1950, 51, MCC, Model Code of Conduct, all these ideas becomes important. Privileges, parliamentary privileges, that becomes important. Oath and affirmation, that becomes important. So these are few ideas. India and the world में something which is happening very recent, all the important issues regarding Israel-Hamas conflict, Ukraine-Russia conflict, IOR, Indo-Pacific, organizations or multilateral forums or partnerships where India is a part becomes automatically very important. So wherever you are finding India and India being getting affected, either directly or indirectly, that becomes important. So this is the way you can always figure out important priority themes within PSIR.
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, do you have any last piece of advice for the students who are looking to prepare for this exam with PSIR as an optional?
Dear student, always remember, strategy without execution is aimless and execution without strategy is useless. This means for UPSC preparation, a perfect blend of both strategy and execution is required. We at Vision IS have been providing you all accurate strategy and precise execution for GS Mains preparation, and this time we are coming up with PSIR optional classes as well. Remember student, there is not a great difference between successful people and unsuccessful people. The only difference is their desire to reach their dreams. And believe me, dear students, dreams are within your limit. It's only time to keep moving towards them. With that note, thanks a lot to all of you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable insights.
Thank you so much, Shruti.
Dear students, we hope that this discussion session was useful to you. If you have any further doubts, you can visit our website to know more about our Vision IS classroom program for PSIR. Stay tuned and all the best for your preparation.